to talk about this. We're going to be off the mark a little bit. And like I'm doing this year, I'm off the mark this year. So what you were used to last year, hey, we're going to switch it up. Today, we're going to talk about behind the curtain. Yeah, and this is not behind the curtain of your house. It's not behind the curtain of your neighbor's house, which can get you in trouble if you try to get behind the curtains of your neighbor's house. That's not the message of today. But we're going to pull back a curtain. We're going to pull that a curtain, which is going to require you to make a decision to do something here in the near future. Now, not everything is set up yet. But it's going to ask you at what level that you want to play. Okay, so I've spent a year giving you guys some incredible ways to change and elevate life from this survive to thrive. And I'm actually really shocked, and I say this in love and appreciation. I'm actually really shocked at how many people listen to this, but don't let anybody know. It's like they're closet listeners of the Survive to Thrive show. They'll tell me, I'll be out at like a social event. I'm like, dude, I love your podcast. I'm like, really? I didn't even know you're listening. I mean, my stats show that people are listening, but I don't know. I just figured that, maybe somebody on iTunes stumbled across it and they're like, let's listen to this. And I get a stat. But there are a ton of local people that are listening to this, and that excites me because there is value and means in value. You're sharing it with somebody else, usually to help spread that word, okay? And I'm going to keep this going because it is fun. And it is a platform that just didn't exist 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. It is a platform for which you get to actually control, and I like that. You don't want to hear what I have to say for the day. You don't want to hear what I have to say at all. That is cool. All right, we don't want to work together anyways. That's not it, okay? You're not going to resonate with all that I say, but we're going to actually drop some stuff in here on a regular basis that should shift and elevate, okay? And I am constantly of this. I am trying to make this year all about you. And in less than trying, I am making this year all about you. And all about you means that you are going to have opportunities to work at higher levels with me. You're going to have opportunities to jump into what we have to offer, not only in our clinic, but as far as information like this goes, at levels that you will just, it's going to blow you away. It's going to absolutely blow you away. We are creating something. And I'm working with the only place that I knew that was doing this, and I'm not going to mention any names right now because it doesn't need to be done. Honestly, I do worry about becoming a target on this, and so we're going to keep it as quiet as we can until we launch. And as we launch, we do this, and this is kind of part of the podcast today. It's part of the podcast that we're going to talk about today, as far as what we're going to be offering here and why that's a target. But as I titled this Behind the Curtain, okay, we're going to peek behind the curtain a little bit and kind of see how this whole operation is set forth. We're going to peek behind the curtain and just say, hey, what do we got? So anyways, back to the fact that this year is 100% about you. It's always been about you, but we're elevating this to a level that we're going to bring so many different things together for you to be able to improve your health. I am on a constant quest always to be able to say, hey, how can we overcome this? Give you a little background of where I started. I started with personal training because I saw that as a great avenue, without becoming a doctor, a great avenue to make a change in people's lives. The frustrating thing for me is that one of two things would happen. I didn't have the communications to be able to impart how important health and exercise and eating well was, to a point that I was subject, meaning the results were subject, and my notoriety as far as being a trainer were subject to these people's poor decisions. I could not control the other 23 hours out of the day that they would be eating at McDonald's or, getting a few cocktails at night and snacking on cookies and chips and stuff like that. This is literally what I just like, what the hell? Why are you not losing any weight? What's going on in your world? Oh, I just had a couple cheat days. And it was like, one of these things was like, oh, it drove me insane. I'm like, you said that you wanted the results, but then your actions are totally different. And so it started me on this path of being able to discover what else I could do. How else could I not control necessarily, not from a manipulative, but how could I influence the body in a greater way? And so this led me to the nervous system. Like, holy man, this system controls everything in your entire body. There's not a single system that is actually detached from this system, and in fact, your system, your essence of life, your existence, your frequency is literally the nervous system, your electrical system. Once that's lights out, everything's gone. You literally just might as well put you under in 6 feet of dirt to be able to decompose, because nothing exists once that frequency's turned off. So I was like, okay, there it is. And so I started searching. And I was talking to one of our clients, Dr. Roger DeSessa. I'll never forget him. I just love it because I think it was his great uncle was Rocky Marciano. We talk about all these tips things. But he'd come in his lunch hour and he'd go, dude, you're just talking about chiropractic. And I was like, am I? I thought those guys were just like pain and joint stuff and things like that. He's like, yeah, we are. But like, that's like, we use the nervous system. He's like, check it out. And so he brought me some stuff, and I hope he gets a chance to listen to this, because it literally did transform my thought patterns. I was like, okay, and then I looked at chiropractic and I was like, I had no idea. This is a delivery of healthcare that I've never seen before, like health, like improving health, just like exercise, nutrition, everything like that. Everything else that I'd known as far as doctors were not improving health from the standpoint of, outside of surgeries and stuff. We were actually just, managing sickness, managing disease. And so we had this avenue, and I was like, done. I didn't know that. So I said, let's look at that. I'm like, all the prerequisites. I'm like, dude, I have it all except for like one chemistry class. I can get that done. So I drove down to Los Angeles at that time and got this chemistry class done, submitted my application, and away we go. Looking back, it was an incredible decision, and one that would transform the way I looked at things. And so that process almost 20 years ago has not stopped. It has not stopped. That was in like 2000. I looked at it. I was like, I got to do this. So has been 20 years since that decision to go to chiropractic school, 1999-ish, 2000, to be able to say, hey, this is the direction I'm going. And now, understanding the nervous system on a whole new level, I'm constantly on the search of like, okay, how can we open doors? How can we actually do, because the nervous system, once we get that improved, but there still can be some breakdowns in some other avenues. The body still may have some issues, and let's start targeting these issues. How can we do this a different way? So I'm constantly on this search, constantly seeking, constantly investigating and learning and seeing and like hearing, and like I get patients are like, I went to this, and I'm like, yeah, let me know a little bit more about this, and I'll dive in there, and I'll dive in, because if we can make this nervous system not only from a structural standpoint where it's relaxed, there's no physical pressure, can it have the nutrition that it needs to be able to thrive the way it needs to thrive, and all these types of things. And so here is the theme of today, is that the more I dove into this, the more I started to peel back this curtain and go, I've heard these stories. I've heard these stories that these things could be done. These things could be true. And I've heard these stories of like chronic diseases responding, going away, just totally obliterated with some alternative treatments. I've heard of all these cancers that are starting to improve. Not because these people are treating cancer, but because the body was in a better state, that because the body shifted into a place where it could heal and like literally function. But the body was missing the things that it needed. It had some vital components of these types of things. And so I peel back the curtain more and more and more and more and more. And I am not allowed to say some of the things that I want to say. My patients say it all the time, and I'm like, I kind of nod. I'm like, yeah, it could be. And we have this. And this is not to pick on doctors, medical doctors at all. But there's this, as we pull the curtain back, there's this level of pharmaceuticals that is out there that is like, you can't just turn away from the fact that all they do is keep people sick. And you pull it back even further and just be like, well, that's the way it was designed. If you look at it, yeah, they can keep people alive, but they're not really letting them thrive. Because as you look at some of the pharmaceuticals that are out there, these people are actually taking, and okay, on one aspect, it's lowering your cholesterol, but on the other aspects, it's totally creating a cascade of chaos in your body where your body can't function because there's all these different side effects that we blocked this, but it blocked 10 other things as well, and your body is just not doing the way it should. It's not working the way it should. And then we have to actually start counteracting with more medicines, these other side effects, and we're there. I think most medical doctors that I know have a heart to help people, but their book of how we treat people has been eliminated to be able to move and improve people's health. It's been narrowed down to, okay, if you have this condition, we give this medicine. It doesn't matter if they improve, they just don't get worse, right? Or if they do improve, like, hey, I've got psoriasis, hopefully no other side effects come up, which they often do. And we're in this world of like chaos when it comes to the human body. And if you look at it, we've done nothing since the inception of even chiropractic health, as far as healthcare delivery, as far as like us touching just a fraction of the population. Medicine, osteopathy has not improved the human condition in 100 years. We have not driven down disease or mortality rates at all. So the question has to be asked as we peel back this curtain, are we not getting the right information? And so the more I peeled back this curtain, I started to discover and find more things. And I'm like, why are we not doing that anymore? Like literally peer-reviewed literature. I just read something this morning, peer-reviewed literature in medical journals, like in 1996. It was like, hey, this is a treatment that it had like 92% success rate for some of these chronic arthritis, chronic joint disease, chronic all sorts of infections that wouldn't respond to anything else. Had a 92% effectiveness rate. Better than anything else. Literally reverse mortality where pharmaceuticals would literally 100%, like the person they're done. They're going down this path. We did some pharmaceuticals, didn't work, they died. And at the same time, you actually, okay, you got person A, person B. Person B did this therapy. I'm not going to even talk about what it is, but did this therapy and it actually turned the corner. With no side effects other than the Hexheimer reaction, which is just kind of like a little irritation. No side effects. But we refuse to do it because it's cheap, it's inexpensive, and we don't have a patent on it. Because anybody can do it. Any practitioner can do it. And so here's, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to be doing. And this is what I'm going to talk to you more and more about. As I peel back this curtain, I've realized that I'm peeling back some stuff that I probably shouldn't see. It's kind of like diving into the deep state. And you start to look at this stuff and go, oh my God, more and more people need to know about this. And so more and more people need to know about this in a forum. So I'm going to ask you to play. Not today, all right? But these podcasts are going to be similar to what I've done in the past, but we're going to take it to a whole new level. Because I have peeled back the curtain. I have peeled back the curtain, and I know too much. I know too much that needs to be shared with you. But I'm not going to do it in a public forum. We're actually going to close our curtain, so to speak, and allow you an opportunity to play behind the scenes. This does one of two things for you. This is going to ask you to come play where you need to access. And so you'll be given, there's no charge yet for this. There's a whole nother level that we're going to talk about that you can play. There's no charge for this yet. But you can come and play, but you're going to have to get access. All right, step one, we're going to have to get access. And these steps are coming down. We'll give you kind of exactly how to do this, which directions to go, and all these types of things. So you'll still have this normal podcast, but then we're going to open this door of like, hey, do you want to play on this? It does one of two things. It allows me to talk freely on a different platform, okay, about things that you need to be doing, about conditions and diseases and things like that without worry of it being misconstrued in a public arena or used against me. And then two, it brings together a community. It brings together a community that all wants to hear what I have to say. So I would contend that you're probably not on this podcast if you don't want to hear what I have to say. But we're going to just do it at a different level. Like, come on over and play on this. And we're going to give you the platform to do this here real soon. But we're going to play on a whole different level. And I want to address things. And I want to get questions. I want you guys to actually get in and actually voice, like, hey, I got this going on. What do you think about this? And we're going to have a platform for you to be able to do that. So today's podcast, there's no real tip and trick other than the fact that there is a curtain that's been pulled over on every aspect of our lives. If you think about health, it's one of the biggest curtains that's been pulled over all of our lives. We are totally missing therapies that could change the suffering of millions of people, and we're just not doing it. We're just not knocking down that. So we're going to have a facility that does it. It's okay. It's going to be a rare facility. And there's a lot of things that have to come together to be able to do it. I brought them all together over the last couple of years. And we have it. We're going to knock on that door, open the door, and you will have an opportunity to physically get the most incredible care and improvements of your health that you've ever seen. There will be nothing like it. There will be nothing that can be done at a higher level than what we're going to do. So we leave you with that. We leave you with that. But just to know that the curtain has been pulled over you. You've been hidden from what is necessary to allow improvements in health, to gain back life, to not suffer, and to be able to connect the way you were designed to be.